Hey everyone, Beardo here with a comic book haul video. However, before we get into the haul, I have to do a little bit of a recap from my last review video in which I reviewed, among other books, Batman issue 10, and I wanted to do just a slight addendum to sort of what I said. I only had 3 books this week, and Batman was my pick of the week, but I sort of said, you know, something else might have been able to beat it because I was just a little thrown by the ending. Now, I have to say that as a Batman fanatic, like, I really know my Batman continuity. And when you throw something really crazy, it takes me a little while to warm up to it. And then, you know, it's one of those, you build it up in your head, and over time, you know, it becomes this tried and true, you know, well-loved piece of continuity. But when you first throw something in there, especially when it is very much from left field, as I do think it is with issue number 10 here, it does take me a little while to warm up to it. And so that's kind of where I was coming from. Now, however, since then, I have done a little bit of research, and thanks to the help of a fellow YouTuber who directed me to an interview with Scott Snyder. Also, I did a little bit of research on the character who comes up at the end of this issue, and it is much more fitting a way to conclude this Court of Owls series than I had originally kind of realized, because as I said, I really do know my Batman continuity, but when you get into sort of Earth 2, Earth 3 territory, my understanding really goes from being, you know, up here to somewhere down here. So as a result, the character who comes at the end of this is, I believe, an Earth 3 character, something like that. And so as a result, I really just wasn't that familiar. However, bringing that person to the main Batman continuity and in the way that they're doing it and the circumstances of the Court of Owls is absolutely phenomenal and absolutely makes this book Pick of the Week worthy. Again, I do kind of defend that, you know, I mean, this is a major emotional moment for Batman. And the fact that it didn't have more build-up and it was just kind of like, blah, throw it at you with issue 10, I still do defend is a little bit kind of out there for me. However, it definitely fits the story a lot more than I had kind of realized when I first read it. Now, after doing my research, I went through and reread it, and I am just gushing over how awesome this book is. So, for those of you who felt like I was maybe a little heavy-handed, and no one's like said, "Wow, why did you know, diss Batman number 10?" This is in no way a response to anything you guys have said. It's just something that I've been thinking more about, and I just kind of wanted to kind of modify my thoughts on it a little bit. So, anyway, if any of you kind of thought that I was kind of a little left field on that this particular comic, I did want to give you an update because I have given it a lot more thought in the last 24 hours since I read it, and wow, I'm getting more and more excited, and as I said in the last video, I am very excited for issue 11 to see what happens next. So anyway, let's just give one more thumbs up for Batman number 10, and love it or hate it, this is an important issue, so if you're reading Batman at all, you gotta have this one. Anyway, so on to the main event, which is a comic book haul. Now, this is an eBay haul I got, which when I got my big haul of books over the weekend, I told you that I won a comic book haul off of eBay, and it was a 30-book run I got for $10.50, which is a steal, and it is a 30-book run that is the complete series. It's a Vertigo title, and it is, drumroll, The Exterminators. Now, I've read the first trade of The Exterminators, and I really enjoyed it. It's really sort of B-movie, over-the-top, kind of crazy. You know, I mean, it's about bug exterminators, but there are so many other elements that are so, like, kind of crazy and out there that are in and of themselves B-movie worthy, but just crazy. You've got sort of like and I haven't read this whole series, so, you know, for those of you who have read it, I don't know totally what I'm talking about here. I admit that in advance, but you've got this sort of like ancient sort of Egyptian runestone kind of element to it. You've got this crazy drugs kind of element to it with the bug killing extermination. Like, each of these are in and of themselves B-movie ideas for separate B-movies, but they get all rolled into this one title that just makes it absolutely crazy and off the wall. I don't know a ton about this story beyond that first trade, and a little bit from what I've picked up here and there from other people, so all in all, I'm just incredibly excited to read the whole thing. And basically, for less than the price of one trade, I'm getting the entire series, so you can't go wrong here. So anyway, here is issue number 1, and number 2, number 3. And I should, as I'm doing this, I do kind of want to review kind of the eBay haul that I got. Number 4. So this is a haul from Make Sweet Music, and I'm not sure if he primarily sells comics or what. This is just sort of a lot of comics that he had on there. He had never bagged and boarded these before, and he said in his lot, like, I'm selling these for cheap because they've never been bagged and boarded. They've just been sitting in my box, and there may be some spine damage, etc., etc. So I want to keep things very reasonable. And he actually he had a buy it now price for $19.99, and I almost went that route, but I decided, let's wait and see. It had a starting bid of $9.99, and I ended up winning it for $10.50. So I really feel like I got a steal on this one. I've definitely got a steal. Anyway, so very, very well priced, obviously. The shipping was $6.50, which for 30 comics I can't complain about. The one thing that was a little bit disconcerting was that the way he shipped it, he didn't ship them in bags and boards, but they were all gathered together very nicely, so it was all very secure, but the way he chose to secure it was a little bit a little bit against my personal scruples, I guess, which is that they were secured with folded up other comics. So there was a copy of, for example, Wildcats #1, which is a comic book I have never at any point in my life really cared about owning, but nevertheless, it was folded in sort of 3 parts. And there was another comic that had the cover ripped off, and it was folded in 3 parts, and they were sort of jammed in, basically like packing peanuts. And that was a little bit like, I felt like I was, digging through dead comics to get to the live comics that I wanted or something. It was a little dramatic. But anyway, that was my only kind of gripe, I guess, on this whole haul, which is I have no right to gripe about that, because I did get these comic books for so cheap, and they are in very good condition. As I said, he was very forthcoming in saying there might be some spine damage and stuff, but these books are pristine. Like, I was looking for stuff and I couldn't really find anything, at least on the surface, that would in any way indicate these books are in any way in rough shape. So anyway, here's issue 21. Continuing along, we got some Derek Robertson art for those of you who are fans of The Boys. Speaking of The Boys, this looks like one of The Boys, just the way his face is, just reminds me of that series. But of course it's Derek Robertson, so it's going to look like that. And then we're back to, we're getting into the last few issues here with number 24, number 25, and we've got the original creative team of Simon Oliver and Tony Moore, which is what I'm familiar with, as having read the first trade. It's all those two guys. All right, and 27, 28, 29, and finally 30. Is this the end of the Exterminators? And yes, it is. So anyway, that is my eBay haul from Make Sweet Music. If you get the opportunity to purchase comics from him, I would definitely recommend it. Just be prepared. You may have some comic carcasses in your box, which may make your heart skip a beat. But anyway, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed this little comic book haul. And again, hope you appreciated my second thoughts on Batman #10. Huge Batman fan. I can't complain. This is such a great time to be a Batman fan. So anyway, I will talk to y'all very soon and look forward to watching your videos over the weekend. Bye-bye.